The wind blew over the rolling plains, carrying the scent of dust, sagebrush, and distant rain. The sun was low, stretching golden light across the fences and barns of the Willow Creek Ranch. Inside that fading glow stood Elias Hart, a man shaped by the land, broad-shouldered, quiet, and with eyes that looked older than his years. For 10 long years, Elias had lived as both father and ghost, mourning the wife he thought he'd buried beneath a cottonwood tree on the edge of his property. He still wore his wedding ring, tarnished and worn. The neighbors spoke kindly of him, how he never remarried, how he kept to himself. But when they spoke of Lydia, his late wife, their voices would fall soft. She'd been the kind of woman that lit up a room, the kind that could turn rough cowhands into gentlemen with a single smile. Her passing during childbirth had hollowed him. He never saw the child that took her, never heard a baby's cry. The midwife said both mother and child were gone. After that, Elias Hart stopped riding into town. He spoke to the cattle more than to people. The ranch ran fine, his herd grew, but his heart stayed cold as a January creek. Until that autumn morning. He was mending a fence near the eastern pasture when he heard the faint sound of giggling, 2 high-pitched voices, soft and unsure. He straightened, squinting against the sunlight. 2 small figures were walking up the dusty trail that led from the road. 2 little girls. Their dresses were worn but clean, faded calico tied with matching ribbons. They couldn't have been more than 6 or 7. They each carried a small carpet bag, far too big for their little hands. Elias frowned. There were no nearby families with children that young. He stepped forward, resting one hand on the fence rail. "Afternoon," he called. "You girls lost." They stopped, exchanging a nervous glance. Then one of them, the bolder of the 2, spoke. "Are you Mr. Elias Hart?" He hesitated. "That's right." The second girl stepped closer, her blue eyes wide and trembling. Mama said you were our daddy." The world stopped. Elias felt the wind die, the sound of the prairie fading into silence. The hammer in his hand slipped, landing softly in the grass. "What did you just say?" His voice came out hoarse. The girls looked at each other again, then back at him. The first one nodded. "Our mama's name is Lydia Hart." Elias stumbled backward. The name hit him like a blow. His heart thudded painfully, memories flooding his mind. Her laugh, her touch, the way she'd said his name the night before she disappeared from this world. He knelt slowly to their height, eyes searching their faces. The one on the left had Lydia's dimple when she smiled. The other had his own storm-gray eyes. "My God," he whispered. "Where's your mama?" "She's sick," the braver one said. "She sent us ahead to find you. Said you'd keep us safe." Elias rose, unsteady. "Where is she now?" The girls pointed south, toward the distant line of willows that marked the river. Without another word, Elias grabbed his hat and saddled his horse. The twins followed close, clinging to each other as he helped them mount behind him. The ride to the riverbank took minutes, though it felt like hours. Under the shadow of the willows sat a small covered wagon, its canvas patched and torn. Smoke drifted from a dying fire, and beside it, wrapped in a blanket, lay a woman. Elias froze. Her hair was longer now, streaked with sun and time. Her face was pale, thinner, but it was her. Lydia. She looked up weakly as he approached, her lips curving into a faint, tired smile. "Elias." He dropped to his knees beside her. "Lydia. How are you alive?" Her hand trembled as it reached for his. "The midwife lied," she whispered. "There were complications. I wasn't dead, but she said you couldn't bear to see me like that. She took me and the babies to her sisters in Abilene to recover. But when I woke, you were gone. I tried to come back, but life got harder. We lost everything in a fire. I've been trying to reach you ever since." Tears filled his eyes, hot and uncontrollable. 10 years, Lydia. I thought I buried you." "I know," she said softly. "I never meant for it to be so long. I just wanted you to see them before I—" "Don't you dare finish that sentence." He lifted her carefully into his arms, feeling the weakness in her body, the heat of fever burning through her skin. "You're coming home," he said. "You're not leaving me again." The twins followed silently as Elias carried their mother into the house, laying her on the bed that had sat untouched since she'd gone. He brewed herbs, fetched clean water, sat through the night holding her hand. The fever raged for days. Each time she stirred, her gaze would drift to the twins, Clara and Rose, she told him. She'd named them after the wild roses that grew near the creek where they'd first kissed. Elias didn't leave her side. Neighbors came by, whispering their shock at seeing Lydia alive. The doctor from town confirmed it was a miracle she'd made it this far. But Elias didn't care for miracles. He only cared that she was here. By the 5th day, her fever broke. She woke to the sound of laughter, her daughters chasing a puppy across the porch, Elias sitting in his chair watching them, his hat tipped back, a smile tugging at his mouth for the first time in years. Lydia turned her head toward him. "You kept my roses alive," she murmured, noticing the vase of dried wildflowers on the shelf. "I tried," he said, voice thick. "But they never bloomed again after you left." She reached out, her fingers brushing his. "Then let's make them bloom again." Spring came to Willow Creek with color the land hadn't seen in years. Lydia regained her strength, and the ranch seemed to breathe again. The girls grew fast, helping their father with the horses, learning to bake with their mother, chasing fireflies in the dusk. Elias often found himself standing on the porch at sunset, his arm around Lydia's waist, the twins playing in the yard. Every now and then she'd glance up at him and whisper, "We got our second chance, didn't we?" He'd nod. "And I'm not wasting a minute of it." Sometimes, though, the old grief would come back, the memory of those lost years, the time stolen by lies. But Lydia would quiet him with a soft touch and a look that said everything. The past was gone, the present was theirs. One summer evening, a storm rolled over the prairie. Thunder shook the rafters, and rain beat against the windows. The twins huddled under a blanket as Lydia read from an old Bible, her voice calm and steady. Elias sat by the fire, whittling a toy horse. When the storm finally passed, the air outside smelled of earth and renewal. Lydia stepped out onto the porch, rain glistening in her hair. Elias followed, wrapping a blanket around her shoulders. "Remember the night we got married?" she said softly. "It rained like this." He smiled. "And you said the rain was God's blessing." "Maybe it was," she whispered, leaning against him. "Maybe he was just waiting for us to find our way back home." Elias kissed her forehead, his heart finally at peace. Years later, when folks rode by Willow Creek, they saw more than a ranch. They saw a family rebuilt from ashes, a love reborn in the heart of the frontier. 2 little girls, growing into women under the endless western sky. A mother who defied death itself to come home. And a cowboy who learned that even the hardest hearts can bloom again when love finds its way back. And on quiet evenings, when the sun dipped low and the prairie glowed like gold,